Hey everybody, welcome to another video. This is somewhat of a response video to William Collins' video, one of his Whittle Talk videos, where he talks about survival knives. And it's not that I disagree with anything he says. In fact, I agree with him more than he thinks I do. Here's my take on what survival knife is and why we have something called the survival knife. All right. The only thing I can say that I disagree a little bit with is he mentioned that not too many people, there's a very small chance that you be put in a situation where you need to survive. And his definition of survival is if you don't make immediate change in your situation, you face imminent death. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm not using exact quotes, but that's what basically what he's saying. And my thing is that a lot of the times, a person doesn't even know that they're in a survival situation, and before they realize they are in dire strait, they succumb to fatigue. They succumb to thirst, hunger, and then hypothermia sets in. And then once that sets in, of course, there's very little that you can do because once hypothermia sets in, you're pretty much useless to yourself. Depending on how strong of a willed person you are, for you to mobily function in a way to survive is highly unlikely. Hypothermia is probably the number one killer. Okay, so in order to avoid hypothermia, you need to have the skills and the ability to start a fire, to build a shelter. Okay, those are two of the most important things, aside from obtaining water and food. Okay, food is, as everybody know now, unless you are diabetic or unless you are completely starving to death, food is probably the least important thing in an initial situation. Okay. First thing you want to do, if you know you're out there and you're stuck out there, you know that you're not walking out of that situation. If you're stuck there, first thing you want to do is avoid hypothermia. You want to build a fire. You want to build a shelter. It may be just an overnight stay. Okay. It might be just, you went hiking. Okay. And you went hiking a little too late in the day. Okay. A lot of people don't know this, but if you're going to go on a 10-15 mile hike, okay, first of all, you should always be prepared to stay overnight out there. Okay. Because not too many people that I know can walk 15 miles in a few hours, okay, unless you're a marathon runner, and come back to their car and go home before it gets dark, okay? So, some people just don't think. They go hiking like let's say they go hiking like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it might be in the summer, and it's broad daylight, and it doesn't get dark until maybe 8 o'clock. But when you go hiking in the wilderness and you're surrounded by trees, it gets a little darker than you think, faster than you think. When you got trees and stuff blocking the sunlight and all that, it gets a little dimmer than just being out in the open. So let's say you're not really thinking, you think you could hike 5 miles in a couple of hours. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Okay, it's still daylight. You go out there, and sure, you can make it back in a couple of hours, and it still be daylight. But let's say you go walking around, you go hiking at 5, which is pretty late in the day, and then you boom, you stop to take a rest, you stop to look at a few things, you lollygag, whatever, and before you know it, you're not even halfway through the hike, and the sun is going down. All right, so unplanned, poorly planned situations can also lay you in a really bad situation where you might have to be stuck out there and spend the night, because you definitely don't want to be walking around in the dark even if you have a flashlight. All right, now here we go. Let's talk about survival knives. All right, people will say a survival knife is the knife that you have on you, okay, and a pocket knife is probably always going to be on you, especially in this community. We talk about knives, we like knives, we all several of us, all of us probably carry more than one knife, and most of it is probably going to be a pocket knife. Can that be a survival knife? Yeah, sure. Anything that helps you to survive is a survival knife, okay? But here is a purpose-built pocket knife, multi-tool that a company manufacturer made purposely for that reason, to survive in the wilderness or in any situation where you need to keep your knife sharp, start a fire. There's a whistle right here to call for help. There's a pommel here to drive in tent stakes, or crack nuts. And then you got a lot of nut trees with nuts. You want to crack your nuts for food. Let's open this up. There's like so many different ways you can use this multi-tool that is, that can contribute to your survival. All right. Now, this is something I would keep probably in an emergency kit. Now, an ultra light emergency kit. I'm going to get into that in a second, all right? Now, this is also, in my opinion, a purposely built survival knife. Why would I call this a purposely built survival knife? Because as much use I can get out of this, all right, I can't do all the heavy-duty tasks that I may have to wind up doing for survival. Okay. Now, there's a saying, a small knife can do a lot of things. Okay. But a small knife cannot do what a big knife can do. A big knife can do a lot of things, and a big knife can always do what a small knife can do. Okay. So, when it comes to talking about knives, big and heavy duty is probably having a big and heavy duty knife is probably better than having something small and something light. All right. And the reason I say that is because this can be used in any kind of way you need to use it without the worry of it breaking on you or malfunctioning on you. Okay. Trust me, this knife is a tank. All right. Now, in combination, they make an awesome team, okay? Because now I can use this with a sharpener here to keep the knife blade sharp, which is really, you don't really have to sharpen this that much, because I'm telling you, I put this knife to the test. I've chopped logs with this, and it'll still slice paper, and it is still razor sharp. Not razor sharp, but very sharp. Okay. So in combination, to have these two things in an emergency kit would be awesome. But both of them are pretty heavy. This one is 1 pound right here, and this here, I would say this is at least half a pound right here. Okay. It's pretty heavy. So if you're gonna build an emergency kit, okay, I highly recommend sacrificing space and weight for this. Okay, if you want to carry a kit, I mean, let's say you want to carry a little bag or pouch, you can easily fit this in a bag with other things and keep a relatively small, compact emergency kit in your vehicle, in your boat, in your airplane, wherever you keep your uh, emergency kits. Okay, I highly recommend. I know this is heavy. I know you guys are gonna say, "Man, I hike," and this is the last thing you want to carry when you want go on a hike. It's very heavy. It's a pound. But some people, true hikers, they carry a backpack, probably anywhere from 15 to 20-pound backpack, and their tent that they sleep in is, I mean, I'm talking about ultralight hikers. Their tent might be no more than 2 pounds. Okay, you're talking about a knife that's gonna weigh almost or half as much as a tent that they sleep in. Okay, and trust me, this is a heavy thing to carry if you're on a hike. But if you're in a situation where you need a hand axe, okay, you need a digging tool, you need a chopper, okay, you need a carve something, slice something. This you need to crack something open. This is the knife you want to have. Okay, this serves as a multi-purpose tool. You can use this for food processing. You can use this for shelter building, fire building, wood processing, wood crafting. You can use this for almost anything you need a knife for. Okay, so to me, and you don't have to worry about being gentle with it. You don't have to worry about taking care of it. It's already coated, so it's kind of rust proof in the situation you may be in. It's not going to rust right away. So, this is the knife, in my opinion. If I'm going to sacrifice weight, if I'm going to carry something heavy, this is what I'm going to carry. Okay. Now, let's say you have absolutely no space. There's no way you're going to be able to carry anything this big or keep anything this big. Let's say you drive a Miata, okay, and you have absolutely no trunk glove box space or any kind of place you can put a small bag or emergency kit. And there's absolutely no way you're going to keep not even a handbag size emergency kit in a small car like that without it being laying on the seat and somebody stealing it from you and all that. There's no way to secure something like that. Let's say that. Then I guess you would have to go with something like this. You keep this in your glove box. You keep this on your persons or whatever. And this will serve, well, I guess. It's got a saw. So with the saw, you can, help build fire and shelter and all that. Okay, but anyway, I digress. If you are going to make a emergency survival kit, then I suggest that everyone should have something of that nature, something like that, an emergency survival kit. And I'm not talking about, okay, well, you're making an emergency survival kit because you know that your life is always going to be in some kind of peril or situation because that's your lifestyle. I'm just saying that everyday people die because they're not prepared to handle an emergency situation. And an emergency situation is not foreseeable. You understand that? That's the thing, folks. You don't understand. you're not in a survival situation because you put yourself there. Okay, you're in a survival situation because you were not prepared. Okay, and so a knife like this means that you're more than likely prepared to handle the situation that's going to come up. You can be put in an emergency situation 2 miles from your home, 1 mile from your home. Okay, you could be put in an emergency situation right in the middle of your city. All right, the cities have parks now. Cities have situations where you're gonna be put in a situation that you're gonna need to, um, look for water, look for shelter, keep from getting wet, cold, catch your death, whatever. Okay, um, you know, America is a big wilderness. It still is. It's got a lot of cities, but think about it. What state do you live in, and how many cities do you have in your state? Majority of your state is rural, county, okay, wilderness. All right, so having something like this in a kit in your truck or your vehicle is essential, in my opinion, because you can go for a walk in the city park and, like, without really thinking or without really knowing, you went there a little too late, it got dark, and you get lost. Okay, it's starting to get cold. I've actually gotten lost in a park one day, got turned around, and it was a new park that I've never been in before, and I didn't know where to go, which way to go. Even there was a trail, I forgot which path that I split off to, and which way I got to go. And if it gets dark on top of that, even with the flashlight, you're gonna have a hard way to find your way back. So, being able to process some wood and get a little campfire going can help you in that situation. Especially if you don't have a sleeping bag, no tent, nothing. You may have to just sleep under the stars until morning, and a fire will definitely keep you toasty, or at least attract enough attention for someone to come by and help you out. So anyway, like I said, that's not an everyday, a common occurrence, but that is a occurrence that occurs. There are people who get lost in city parks and die. Some people die. Some people, of course, survive, but they get hospitalized because of, like I said, hypothermia, whatever. There are many people, hundreds, if not thousands of people each year who die from getting lost, getting turned around on a trail somewhere out there in the wilderness, and they just succumb to hypothermia and die. So, to me, I know there are many knives like this, okay, but I can only speak for this knife that I've tested and used during my camping adventures, and also just testing it. This is the ultimate survival knife, in my opinion. It really is. You can take the scales off and tie it to a spear and throw it. You can hunt fish with this. You can build shelter with this, build fire with this. To me, this is the ultimate survival knife. You could use it like a hand axe. This is all you need, far as in cutting survival tool. Okay, with this, a ferro rod, and a saw. Okay, and you really don't even need a saw, because you can chop and hack branches and trees with this, and cut trees with this. I've done it. Okay, so you really don't even need a saw unless you're trying to make something, something crafty. You really don't need a saw. This is a hand axe in itself right here, and you chop, and you break and you could take branches and chop branches and baton with it and process firewood in no time with this, something like this. You could, I mean, this is a great knife to have. It's heavy, but in a fatigue situation, when you're fatigued and you want the knife to do all the work, this is it. You grab it right here, right like this, and you chop it. Okay? Takes no effort to just chop. Let the weight of the knife do all the chopping and work. And next thing you know, you got some firewood processed. With this little thing here, if you wanna use the saw, get the saw out here, and you wanna saw thick branches with it, you'd be there all day, just sawing away, and then sawing away the sections of the branch to try to get some sections for firewood. And then on top of that, you got thick branch that you just sawed into sections. Now you got to split them up so you can make tinder and you know, smaller pieces so they catch fire and all that. Well, good luck doing that with this. You're not gonna be batoning with that. Trust me, you're not. Okay, so you're gonna wind up having to go around and collect dry twigs off of trees and go ahead and use that. But you know, like I said, this right here will do all the small tasks and all of the big tasks. Okay, so to me, I'll carry the extra weight. If I can fit this in an emergency survival kit, this is what I'm going to use. This is what I'm going to put in my emergency survival kit. This, a pocket knife, and a multi-tool, or you know, a saw, something like a hand saw. You know, that's all you really need. And a ferro rod. Well, this multi-tool has a ferro rod. No, ferro rod, a good decent sized ferro rod, a good hardy knife that won't break on you, get dull on you. This is 1095 steel. I am sorely impressed with 1095. I mean this D2, in my opinion, after seeing what a 1095 can do, D2 is junk. I don't like D2. 1095, I know it rusts, but that's why it's got this coating. But I guarantee you, man, I'm telling you, I have used this like a hand axe. I've chopped. Look at my previous videos. I mean, I have literally chopped down trees with this. Tree size branches I have cut in half with this, and then I've gone around and sliced paper with it, and it's just indestructible. The edge, I mean, I could work with this all day long, chopping and processing firewood, and then go catch a fish and gut a fish with it, or even, you know, gut a squirrel with it, or whatever, you know. I'm telling you, this is the knife to have with you. Wear it on your belt. If you go hiking, I know people don't want to carry a lot of weight, but I've carried this on my belt on a 5-mile hike, and I've hardly noticed anything on my belt. You know, I was a police officer for 24 years, and then I've worked in corrections for 5 years, and I'm used to carrying stuff on my belt. Okay, guns. I've carried 25 to 30 pounds of equipment on my belt for 8 to 16-hour days and all this and that. So carrying something on your belt and carrying something like this is no problem. I could carry this and a sidearm on my belt, no problem, all day long. And I don't care. You know, you hikers, you know, you're all about wanting to hike 15, 20 miles a day, and the slightest weight on you is going to irritate you. Well, you know what? I'd rather be irritated and get used to carrying a lot of weight than to be stuck out there one day and not have the proper equipment that you need to survive. All right? Well, anyway, I hope I got my point across. I'm not trying to disagree with William Collins. I just think that a normal person, day-to-day living, can be put in a situation a lot more than he thinks. You know, 99.999% chance that you will never face a survival situation. I disagree with that. I think the chances of you facing a survival situation is greater than everybody thinks. But anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry for the long video and sorry for the long rant. If you disagree, if you agree, if you have your own suggestions or comments, please leave a comment below. Please subscribe. And I'm not saying subscribe just so I can get subscriptions. I want people to subscribe because I want them to stay in touch. I make it a point when you subscribe to me and you make a comment down below in the comment section, I visit your channel. I do. And I subscribe to you. Because anybody who watches one of my videos and they make a comment, they took the time to actually watch the video, number one, and number two, they cared enough to give me their opinion. Okay, it may not be an opinion that agrees with me or is positive, but they took the time to put themselves, give a part of themselves to watch my video and make a contribution via comment. And if you do that, I don't care if you left a negative comment, I'll go to your channel and subscribe to you because I want to stay in touch with you. And if you were interested enough to click and watch a video like this, you and I probably have more in common than you think. All right, so thanks for watching. Stick around and enjoy yourselves. See you later.